Like you load CNN, you're loading 80 JavaScript files. That's a lot of opportunities for us to race that web server. If we miss the first one, I don't think I care. And they build the web page. That means they run in the security domain of the web page. So, rewriting your DOM, the document object model, is programmatic manipulation of the XML that makes up the page. Once we're in the DOM, we can do anything we damn well want. So, you have 2 lines of JavaScript. Find everything that has a div, find things that are named CNN T1 image, and replace them. So what else can we do? How about we regex and rewrite every form to proxy through my server somewhere else, so everything you log into goes through me before it hits the real server? How about we rewrite all the HTTPS links in your page to HTTP, so everything you do and log into is no longer encrypted on your unencrypted Wi-Fi network, which means I can now sniff it directly? How about poison something topical to a conference? I mean, kind of tinfoil hat, but what if you're at a banking conference and poison all the news sites so that they start saying something in the market crashed? Good stuff. So, HTTP, forget the S. The S isn't important. Find everything that's an A. Find everything that has an href. Look for, and just do a JavaScript or a regex replace. Anything that begins with an HTTPS now has an HTTP. That website is no longer encrypted for any future links. So this matters a lot. I mean, really, really, seriously, bad. So who's read our Snakes VPN paper from about 1.5 years ago? 1, 2. So, short version of it. You can tell I guessed that response because I have the summary in here. You can attack HTTP clients via cache control. Layer 2 attacks against web content can be made persistent. That means once you leave the Starbucks network, you're still owned when you go back into your corporate network. So browsers have cache. Cache sticks around. That's why it's there. Users don't know about cache. If I own your TCP session, I own your cache control. So I feed you a spiked JavaScript file with the cache set to 10 years. That stays on your hard drive. Every time you go back to the site, it reloads that from your VPN, from your corporate office, from wherever. So, don't think that's a problem. There's 490K of JavaScript cached by CNN's front page alone. So, none of the JavaScript files are invisible to the end user. Lots of opportunities to land this attack. So what do? Well, you just make a JavaScript file, feed it to Airpone, cache control, max age, whole bunch of 9s, just lean on the key till you feel like it. Public cache, that's fine. Expires, 2011. It's far out. I mean, the world's going to end in 2012 anyway, so 2011 is good enough. So we hijack a common JavaScript file, spike it with malicious code, set it to cache, and now when the user goes back to work and goes to Twitter again, they're loading our JavaScript instead, and it'll keep reusing it over and over again. So what can we do with that? I don't know. What do you feel like doing? Iframes in the background? Those are fun. Kaminsky's socket sucket stuff from TorCon a couple years ago, where he implemented TCP over JavaScript and Ajax and serialized raw TCP data so that he could use bugs in Flash and Java to create local sockets and proxy an interface from his laptop through your browser, through Ajax requests out into your internal network. Yeah, you could load that. That would be nice and easy to do. But I mean, no one would ever go to Twitter at work, right? So you don't have to worry about this. None of your users would go to Starbucks and then goof off at work later. And how many sites use Urchin? Google Analytics? Yeah. Most of them are hosted off the same URL, Google? Yeah. What happens if we poison that URL and set it to cache? Yeah, we'd get JavaScript execution on every site loading Urchin from Google. So how about we call home to mom? Cache every modified JavaScript so that it calls home every time the page is visited and contacts a remote server. Maybe there's no good attacks for the browsers this week, but I'm traveling anyway, so, set up a whole bunch of caches. Wait for browser O day to come out, flip the switch, put a little bit of JavaScript on the server that they'd include dynamically when the cached content loads, that then loads the latest Flash exploit or the PDF exploit in an iframe in the background and owns them. Every system that has the cached call home is attacked as soon as the users visit the site I poisoned, like, say, Twitter, CNN, whatever. Or just make a little JavaScript shim. Cache every page that you see with a little shim that looks at the URL that it was trying to go to, fetches the original content over Ajax, manipulates the DOM to do anything you want to it, like replace images, rewrite encryption, proxy forms, maybe load your PDF exploits, and then, just kind of loads the page up so everything looks normal. But, I mean, there haven't been any big browser vulnerabilities lately, right? I mean, nothing like happened in China or, no problems like that. So this means no website is innocent. Websites that didn't ask for logins that you'd think you'd trust, like just reading Twitter without logging in, still just as likely to feed you a bunch of exploits and own you now as a site you thought was high risk to log into from an open network, like, say, Chase Banking. Any website can be poisoned with browser-owning code. But SSL will solve it, right? Well, not really, because users still have to be smart enough not to accept a bad cert. And users would never do something insecure, right? Obviously, that pop star sent me naked pictures of her. She wants me to see her. She wouldn't have emailed me otherwise. Click, 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 click. So, I mean, users, they're smart, right? You wouldn't expect them to, make bad decisions about malware and viruses and SSL certificates. And you can totally trust them to appropriately look at the SSL certificate and realize that that's a spoofed one, right? I mean, but self-signed certificates, they're so obvious, right? I mean, signed by VeriSign with a capital S obviously isn't signed by VeriSign with a lowercase s, right? Oh. Assuming a user even looks and doesn't just click OK, I kind of think that users just really want the web, click OK until they get to tits. Is it porn yet? No. Okay. Is it porn yet? No. Okay. Is it porn yet? No. Okay. Oh, it finally got porn. Good. Uneducated users will always find a way to expose themselves, but we're all smart hackers. We're fine, right? Unfortunately, Moxie's not around this morning, but at Black Hat last summer, he did the SSL nullbyte attack, which, short version, SSL certs validated for HTTP by matching the common name. Wildcards are allowed, so like Google purchases splat.google.com. C-strings are terminated with a null byte. You trusted CA validated foo.com before giving out the cert. CA only gives out certs for owners of a domain. What if we get them to sign for a domain we own legitimately, splat null foo.com? And what if their signing code uses the SSL field length and checks all the bytes? And what if Microsoft's SSL code uses C strings and goes, oh, that's a null byte, I should stop comparing? Yeah, that was Moxie's stuff from Black Hat, and yes, it worked that simple, and yes, we all would have been owned, because not only Microsoft, the Firefox libraries, I believe the Opera libraries, several others, OpenSSL had to release fixes for it as well. All your SSL would be owned, and you'd never know, and we're the smart people that can't, and even then we would have gotten screwed. So other things that use SSL might be vulnerable too, anything that had a common name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So sure, that bug is fixed, but what about the next one? Even we can fall to O-Day. Nothing's going to stop a Firefox O-Day from getting you at a con, or at Starbucks, or at the airport. I mean, how often do we use public Wi-Fi? At this point, I've ruined public Wi-Fi for myself, but... So, let's be clever. I'm smart. I use a VPN, or I'm a smart network administrator. I force all my users to use a VPN via like UAC or something, and they all want to set fire to my office, but it's cool because they're still secure. So none of these attacks will work against me. Well, it wouldn't, except your browser has no friggin' concept that you're on a VPN versus a public network. So what was cached in an insecure domain will very happily be loaded inside a secure domain. Which means many hotspots have a landing page where you have to go, yes, Panera, I agree to your network terms, or yes, Starbucks, let me in. Most of those pages aren't encrypted. Unencrypted page on an open network. Oh, look, that's a nice hijack target. So if I control your web page before you log in on your VPN, then I can control your browser. Pop under windows, iframes, AJAX queries in the background that go nowhere. All of those let me pick, say, top 250 pages I think you're going to go to, and cache them and load them in the background, and cache poison them by TCP hijacking your background loads. And you'll never see the page, you'll never know it, but while you're saying to Panera, yes, I won't look at kitty porn, I'm saying to you, oh, here, go visit CNN later, it'll be awesome. And even better, we can make that JavaScript really smart. I can have the poisoned landing page request that content multiple times in the background. I can do regexes in JavaScript against the code I got over AJAX, so I can make sure that my attack landed and the session got hijacked, because I know what the attack code looks like in the hijacked session, and if it didn't land, I can keep requesting it in the background quickly to make sure it'll finally hit. So now I can arbitrarily own sites I think you're going to go to before you load your VPN. So let's take it one step further. VPN loads internal pages, right? And if I control layer 2, can I attack other protocols other than TCP? Yeah, I could race the DNS server. Just get a query, set the QR flag on it, supply an IP, race your local DNS server to give you a response back. So that means, oh look, DNS pwn's now in Metasploit. Same model as Airpwn, YAML file, config file to match multiple queries, races the DNS server to give the user a customized IP. It's customized for your pleasure. It's good. So if we control the browser, we control DNS resolution, we can retry as quickly as we want if